We have the microphones around the room. We'll go Gary in the middle, and first one on number 2.
Jaylen, you guys seem to play decent for the first 6 minutes, and then just everything kind of went haywire. What happened out there? And in a closeout game, a game with such importance, why did you guys just play so poorly?
I don't even know the answer.
2 last row in the corner.
Somebody else. Next question.
John, back left.
Jaylen, the first 3 games, the decision-making from you guys was pretty much like right on point. Seemed like this game, the decision-making was a little bit different. Was there something that changed that, or what did you see from that perspective?
Give credit to Dallas. I think they play hard physically, and then they dominated the glass. I think that was the key that put a lot of pressure on us, and then we didn't make shots tonight, and I think that's where we allowed them to play free. Once we did, we get them multiple opportunities to make shots, and then also we didn't hit shots on the other end. So we're going to look at the film and see where we can better, and we go from there.
Standing on your left, Jared.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You guys have had so many different metaphors for understanding that when you're on top is when you're also most vulnerable to fall. So being in this situation for the first time of on the verge of clinch a championship, how'd you feel like all of those lessons you've learned kind of felt in that moment?
It's a great opportunity to respond. Give credit to Dallas. They came out and they played with force and they played great. So we regroup. We keep our same mentality. And we come out and get ready to fight in another battle on our home floor.
Third row on your right.
Hey, Jaylen, Jack Simone, SB Nation. You've taken it upon yourself to be super vocal this year. What do you say to the guys after a game where, like you said, Dallas just played amazing and you guys have to move on right away?
We learn from it. We take it. We don't dismiss it. We're going to learn from it. We're going to see how and why, exactly where, the game was won and lost. And then we take those experiences and then we come out and we play like our life depends on it, because it does.
Chris on your left.
Jaylen, do you feel like the opportunity to clinch tonight played any role in terms of kind of the mentality of this game, and what did you learn about what it's going to take to close this group out?
Closeout games are hard. Closeout games are tough. They always have been like that, and you got to have extreme focus. You got to come out and meet their intensity to finish things out. So we didn't do that tonight. Give credit to Dallas. I thought they played extremely well. Those guys, they crashed, they rebounded, they played with force. Some of those other guys stepped up, and we got to be better, and we got to have some of our guys step up, and that's what it takes.
Dan, this side, second row.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, over here. One of the things you had a lot of success with in the first 3 games was keeping their three-point volume down. They got up more tonight, and they seemed like they were able to get into a little bit more rhythm of driving kick. What were they doing differently to open those things up, crowbar open more of those looks that you saw tonight?
I feel like the pace slowed down a little bit, which allowed them to kind of dictate what they wanted to do. I think we got to continue to keep the pace, but have some more poise. Just see where we can be better, and we'll watch film and we'll see. Right now it feels raw, so we just got to look at film and go from there.
Last 2 questions in the front and then on the left side.
Jaylen, you've kind of become some sort of heir apparent to the leadership role in this team. And, there's been pushback. There's 17 captains. I get it. But it seems like you really have one of the loudest voices on this team. What are you learning about yourself as a leader in losses, and especially a loss like this?
These are the moments that, can make you or break you. We got to reassemble. We got to look at it. We got to learn from it. And then we got to embrace it and attack it. It's going to be hard to do what we're trying to do. We didn't expect anything to be easy. But there's no reason to lose our head. Tip your cap to Dallas. They came out and they played well. And we just got to be better on the next one.
Our media, what's the most important lesson you learned from tonight's game?
I'm not sure as of yet, but we're going to watch it. We're going to learn from it. As of now, we just got to be better. Got to meet their intensity. It's the NBA playoffs. It's the NBA finals. So looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, Jaylen. Jason. All right, we'll take questions. First question up here in the front 4th seat.
Hi, Steve Buckley from The Athletic. You guys were down 0-3 last year. Game 4, you had that big comeback. You had I think, 25 points in the second half. So can you at least see where they're coming from tonight, what their mindset was coming into this game, they're being down 0-3?
I mean, absolutely. Like you said, a year ago this time we were down 0-3, and we're essentially fighting for our lives. So very short answer, yeah, we understand what it's like, from their point of view. And, they came out super aggressive. They, playing extremely fast and took more shots than we did. They were really concentrating on attacking the offensive glass. They got way more rebounds than we did. They played harder tonight. And obviously we didn't shoot the ball well at all. And it's something that we can learn from.
Front left, Jared.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You guys have talked in so many different metaphors about how hard it is to finish something off this year. You get to the first clinching game for a title of your career. How big of a challenge was it, and how hard was it to try to problem solve in real time and go through all those different things?
Yeah, give them credit. They played well tonight, and we didn't. We had the right mindset and the right intentions, right? We wanted to come out and play super well and win, but it just didn't go that way tonight. But, we're fortunate we get another opportunity on Monday.
Over here on your right.
Hey, Jason. Jack Simone, SB Nation. Jaylen came in here and said, next time you're out there, you got to play like your life depends on it, because it does. You recently said in an interview, if you got back to this point, you would do whatever you needed to take to win. After a loss like this, I'm curious what your process is mentally of absorbing it and moving on.
Yeah, just not to harp on it too much. Like, it happened. We can't change what happened tonight. We always say you lose by 2 or you lose by 30. Right? They all count the same. But we do need to be better. We're not making any excuses. We need to be better, and we will. We will be better.
John, back left.
Jason, Joe talked about the Mavs kind of causing some indecision at the rim, kind of making you unsure of whether you should shoot or pass. What were they doing, and just what did you make of your teams and your decision-making in general tonight?
Yeah, I think we were I think this was the most stagnant that we've been this series. And the worst job of owning our space on the offensive end and doing what we wanted to do instead of what they were forcing us to do. And, we did a great job of that the first 3 games, and this one we didn't.
Dan, here in the front right.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. You guys have been getting up a ton of corner threes, generating a lot of those driving kick to the corner. Only got, I think, 6 of those tonight before garbage time. What were you seeing from them defensively in terms of the way they were closing out on those corners and shutting down those opportunities for you?
I think it starts on the defensive end for us. We didn't get many stops, so they were allowed to set their defense up. And just naturally, when you're scoring at a high rate, you feel good about yourself, your energy is higher, tend to probably play better defense. So it all starts on the defensive end. We just got to do a much better job containing them, making it tougher, and getting stops.
Robert, third row on your left.
Robert Littell, BS. So when dealing with a blowout, is your process more to, like you kind of spoke about before, just kind of flush it, move on as quickly as possible, or are you someone that watches the game over, watches the tape of it, and gets kind of angry or motivated since it was a blowout?
I'm just a little bit of both. You have to move on from it, win or a loss. We're obviously going to watch film and see a lot of things that we need to clean up and do better. But you can't worry about it too much because we have another game on Monday. And like I said, not making any excuses. We got to be a lot better, and I believe that we will.
Last question, Chris, on the second row on the left.
On the game on Monday, Game 5, what do you expect the Garden to be like? What would it mean to you to clinch on your home floor that night?
I think it's going to be as loud as it's ever been in my 7 years. of being a Celtic. Excited to go back home, celebrate Father's Day on Sunday, and compete for a championship on Monday. So it should be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Jason. Take questions for Jrue. First one in the back there in the fifth row in the aisle.
Juju got in Middle Art Media. What's the most important thing you learned tonight that you can take back with you to Boston to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
One is
Take care of the things that we can control. Got to fight for rebounds. We got to, me in particular, not turn the ball over and just be aggressive, be the more desperate team.
right here in the front row, on your right.
Bruce Castleberry, Boston Herald. You're the only one with championship experience. What do you tell the guys about just throwing this one away and going back to what you guys do normally?
I mean, I wouldn't say throw it away. We got to learn from it. Things that we have to go back and watch and, again, see the things that we should have controlled and done better doing that, but going back and watching film and getting better.
Standing on your left, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. There's a couple of drives tonight. It looked like you got into the paint, had the opportunity to go up, but then kicked back out. Wondering, did you see something different from the way they were defending you guys in the paint tonight that made those decisions of pass or kick a little bit tougher?
Me particularly, no. I think they let me play one-on-one. So whenever I drive, I think they all just kind of space out and let me try to play one-on-one at the basket. So just got to do better playing off my teammates and finishing at the rim.
Third row on your right.
Jrue, Jack Simone, SB Nation. You guys have made it a point all season to act the same after wins and losses from a mental perspective, putting it behind you. You mentioned learning from this game and moving on to the next. How does that message change from wins to a loss like this on this stage?
We learn from wins, too. Wins, we have opportunities to get better. And, again, same thing with losses. So not sure it changes much. Got to get home, get a rest, hydrate, and lock back in.
Chris, second row on your left.
Jrue, Chris Ryan with iHeart. You guys are very intentional about not letting things filter in about having an opportunity to win a championship tonight. Do you feel that played a role at all in terms of what we saw out there?
I think winning is hard. I think winning any game is hard, but winning Game 4 of the NBA Finals is pretty damn hard. So, no, I think they came out desperate, and I think they punched us in the mouth, and we couldn't kind of recover the way we wanted to.
Again in the front.
Jrue, in your experience, how can such a massive win give momentum to a team like Dallas, and how do you slow them down?
I guess a massive win would be, I don't know. I think role players came in and they felt good. Obviously, they're at home, but things that we have to control, we will do our best to do that and come back at home and do the best we can to win.
Jared, back left.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You have clinched an NBA Finals before. You're the one guy on the team that's done it. What makes it so hard to get this last win? Like, what is that extra thing that you need?
I don't know. Even though I've done it, you got to do it together as a team. Everybody has to be clicking and being again, the more desperate team. So we just got to go back home. I think lock into tendencies, lock into the game plan, and I think we'll be okay.
Any final question? We'll take Dan and Chris on the left side.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Process-wise, something Joe talks about always, like it's not really results-oriented. It's are we getting to the right process offensively? Did you feel like the process was similar tonight? Did you feel like you were getting the shots you wanted?
I thought we got a lot of good shots. I think a lot of them didn't fall. A lot of the plays that we'd made before didn't really just go on the hoop. You saw a couple go in and out, and again, just a couple plays didn't go our way. So credit to Dallas. They played extremely hard. They played desperate, and we got to do the same.
Chris, last question on the left.
You've obviously worked hard to have a 3-1 series lead at this point in time. They have a convincing victory tonight. Where do you see the series at this point? Is the opportunity obviously still there for you guys?
I think the series is we're up 3-1 going back to Boston.
Thank you. Steve up front.
Steve Buckley at The Athletic. You guys were down 0-3 against Miami in the conference finals last year. Did you see a little of yourselves in them tonight, the way they came back, the way you did in the second half last year in Game 4?
I'm not sure. I feel like every series kind of has a life of its own, but yeah, yeah. But they were in a position that their backs were against the wall, and they did what they were supposed to do. It is hard to win on the road, and even though we've had a lot of success this postseason on the road, they got the momentum, they kept it going, and that was a big difference. Their crowd really rallied behind them, and I feel like that helped them, throughout.
Last three, Jared, Arash, and then Adam.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic, Joe's talked a lot about how difficult it is to finally submit somebody and really get over that last step. And this is the first time you guys have had that chance to actually clinch for an actual title. So how difficult was it just going through the journey of trying to find a way back into this game, especially since they were able to get to so many of the things that you had taken away throughout the series so far?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard. It's a playoff series. Teams are going back and forth. Usually, I've been in a lot of these, and usually by the second game you're making adjustments, third game you're making another adjustment, and that's kind of how it is. And for us, we've had the first three games we didn't really make any adjustments. So today they did something. We have to see how we can be better, and prepare for it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. But it's the playoffs, and they're fighting for their lives, and they played better than us.
Arash, front right.
Al, Arash Madani from Sportsnet. You mentioned we've faced adversity and gotten through it. There hasn't been a ton this year, but for a team that's been so process-oriented, even after 3-0, you're saying, okay, practice, film, et cetera. What does this team do in the face of adversity? What are some of the things that has allowed you guys to come out on the other side of it?
I think we always, fall back on our work and preparation, and understanding what we need to do, and it's not going to be any different now.
Adam, last question here on the right.
Al, how do you kind of ensure that the thoroughness of this win isn't impactful? Like, for them to win this big, they had some guys who hadn't been playing as well, maybe gained some confidence. Kind of the manner at which you're unfolding. How do you guys make sure that doesn't linger into the next game?
Yeah, that's a good question. Understanding that it's one game, after we won game one, we put it behind us. Game two, kind of same thing, and so on. And we're at this point now, and we have to take some things that we can be better at and try to fix them, and then others kind of throw them out and just kind of do that, and make sure that we come out and we play Celtics basketball. I think ultimately that's what it comes down to us, and and there's a lot of things that we can control, and that I expect us to be much better on Monday.
Thank you, Al.
How you doing? Great. We often hear from coaches that sometimes after a night like this, they just burn the tape, so to speak. Can't really get anything from it, on to the next one. What's your thought on this? Is there something you can gain from this, or is it just fully flush it and go?
I mean, you could definitely take some things from it. But at the same time, I thought Dallas played great. Give a lot of credit to them. All of their guys, whoever went in, well balanced. Thought they played with a ton of energy and physicality, and you got to give them that. And they're a great team, and that's the Dallas. That's the reason why they're here, is when they play like that. So, but you can definitely take some stuff from it.
Dan, second row in the center.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Coach, 26 points in the paint, I believe, is a season low for you guys. 3 for 16 on non-rim paint shots. What did you see from the process in terms of getting into the paint, the finishing there? What was sort of giving you guys a problem with that tonight?
They did a great job flying around, making us indecision on whether to shoot it, drive it, and then there were multiple efforts, and thought their 5 men did a great job protecting the paint. And every time we went in for a layup, they had multiple guys contesting. So I thought they just did a great job flying around on the defensive end.
Gary, fourth row.
Yeah, Joe, Gary Washington, Boston Globe. Joe, was effort an issue at all? And when did you see that you guys just didn't have it? Because it seemed like no one across the board played well.
I mean, I don't know. Always in situations like this, it always goes back to us. But you got to give Dallas credit. They played well. They played really, really well. And that's the reason why that they're in this, is because when they play like that. So I thought they just outplayed us.
Jared on the right.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. We've talked a lot about the metaphor of the chokehold in UFC fighting and trying to make sure that you finish the submission. Now that you guys were literally in that position, like actual title on the line, chance to finish it out, it didn't work. Why do you think all that preparation didn't work in this moment, and how did you guys try to work through going back to your principles there?
Yeah, I mean, I think just preparation doesn't guarantee an automatic success, and so I thought we had a great process. I thought we had a great shoot around. I thought we had a great film session yesterday. I thought the guys came out with the right intentions, and I just didn't think it went our way, and I thought Dallas outplayed us. I thought they just played harder. So, you have to prepare to put yourself in the best possible position, but it doesn't guarantee anything. And so at the end of the day, we got to just maintain our process and get ready for Game 5.
Fourth row on your left.
Hey, Joe. In the first half, particularly, they really got after you guys in the offensive glass with Flyable there. What led to those breakdowns in your mind, and how do you clean that up going forward here?
Yeah, anytime there's 2-on-1s and little indecisions, they do a great job cutting behind you and kind of wedging you under and get them. And I thought Lively was great in that. And yeah, we had 26 misses in the first half and only 2 offensive rebounds, and they had more. So we got to be better on our defensive rebounding, and then we got to be better getting more offensive rebounds when we miss.
Chris, second row on your left.
Joe, what were the biggest things you learned tonight? You mentioned there were some things that jumped out at you about your group, and what do you think you've learned in terms of closing out the Mavericks the next time?
Yeah, listen, I learned that Dallas is a great team, and you're going to have to earn it. And there's a lot of stuff that we can control, so we'll go back on the film and we'll watch that, and we'll really try to be disciplined to control it.
Gary in the middle.
Joe, you said Dallas played harder. Does that bother you that they played harder than you guys did? Was that just a matter of their desperation, or why in a closeout game, and you guys have been preaching, like, act like you're down 0-3, would you guys not play as hard as you could?
I don't know. I thought Dallas played really hard. Morris said it because you have to give them credit. It's not about us. It's about our opponent and having the respect for them. And you have to give them credit for how well they played. And that's the most important thing. So it's less about us and more about how they played. And they played well. They played hard. And, we have to be more disciplined in how we defend and attack them.
Steve, last question up front.
Steve Buckley from The Athletic. You've been asked a couple of times about your team's effort, and you keep going back to how well Dallas played. So how was your team's effort?
It wasn't as good as Dallas's was. I thought theirs was a lot better.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.